Hey guys, welcome back to Tiff Tech Tip. Today I have here with me Karishma. Thank you so much, Karishma, for being here with us today. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm so glad to be here.
So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Karishma. I recently graduated in May from NYU. That's where I studied computer science. I also started my first technical role full-time in July at a technology company. I'm an iOS engineer there.
Wow. So when did you first get intrigued by tech?
I think my first experience with tech was a few years ago, more than a few years ago. I was a freshman going into my sophomore year of high school, and I did this summer program that it was a mobile app competition. And I initially went in there because of the business aspects of it. I just thought like business and marketing were really cool, and I thought that's what I wanted to be like when I grew up. But then as I progressed throughout the program, I really enjoyed the technical aspects of it, of like creating my own app and like seeing my lines of code turn into like an actual product, into an actual application. So that's where I first like got my like first taste of technology.
You said initially when you joined the program that you wanted to be more a part of like the business field, but so happened you went into the technical field. Were you like nervous to go into the technical field at all, given that you were so prepared to go into the business one?
It was definitely a little intimidating just because I had no exposure to technology beforehand. I had no idea like what had gone into, creating an app, even like creating a website. I remember the first week they like gave us an assignment to create a website, and looking back on it now, I'm like, oh wow, that wasn't too bad. But like your first time going through all of those steps and like dealing with like the servers and just dealing with the design. I'm still not that great with design, but it's a lot to handle. And there was a lot of kids in the program who already had done like a bunch of coding things in the past, or just had more experience with like technology in general. So it was a little intimidating, especially going into, we were like segmented into teams. And in my team there were 4 other high school students. They were all boys, and they all had done tech stuff in the past. I was also like the youngest one in my team, so it was intimidating for sure, but I'm really glad I pushed myself, and I stuck to my guns, and I said I really want to contribute to the tech side of it. So yeah, I'm really glad I did that. But yeah, definitely intimidating.
How did you navigate like the tech field, or like this path, given that you were the only female on your team? I mean, like, was it hard at any point, or like did you feel like inferior?
It's like, I don't know if I necessarily felt inferior. It just was a different culture. I mean, in general, in the entire program, there were 4 other girls, and there were like, I think like 40 male students.
Wow.
So you definitely, like, I had never been used to that. Like in my schools, it's always been pretty like equal, especially like coming from NYU, like there's even more girls than guys, I feel, in my comp sci classes. So it was definitely different from any other environment I've ever been in. But the way that it was just different was there were certain things I just couldn't relate on, and there were like side conversations, and it just felt hard to crack. But once I really just communicated with the team, and I established, hey, this is what I'm interested in pursuing, and once we just established like that respect between each other, I think things progressed and went well from there.
Well, as a high schooler myself, like I've encountered many girls, like they have an interest in the technical field, but they never plan to pursue it because they're so like intimidated, or like they're not sure if they can like fully complete their passion. So what tips would you give to them?
I think definitely finding allies and finding a community of other females in the field has really helped me personally. I remember a few summers ago, this was actually unintentional, but my internship group was 4 other college students, and they happened to be girls, and that was one of the most positive experiences I ever had. Not to say that it wouldn't have not been positive if they were boys, just having, it was a different feeling because they were all, even through all the like challenges we had, there was also like a sense of we also need to like uplift each other and like reinforce like positive affirmations, and it was just really positive to see other females in my field like succeeding. So, and I still keep in touch with them today, and like having that network really inspires me. So because if I ever feel like I'm not doing well enough, I just look to them and I see like, oh, but they're doing it, and it puts a smile on my face and really inspires me. But definitely just like having a community to like even vent to, I think is really, really important.
Must be really empowering. So like after having all these experiences like with computer science precisely, what is like a lesson that you learned from all these jobs and interviews?
Just in general, like lessons about navigating the tech field, or
lessons in general.
I think off the top of my head, I'm thinking keeping your options open, because it's easy to find yourself going down a rabbit hole if you're just like used to a certain idea in tech. Like for example, I'm doing iOS engineering now because I just took a class on a whim for iOS development in my last semester, or one of my last semesters in college. And before that, I had been doing web development for about like, I think 3 years. That's what all my like internships were about. So, you know, just like randomly taking that course, I mean, I had never done anything like that before, made me go into the field I'm working in now. So I think really keeping your options open and just like challenging yourself to do things that you may not think you're good at necessarily. So keeping your options open, I think that's good. And like I said before, really finding a community that really uplifts you, which I honestly think is one of the great things about technology. There's an understanding between everyone that, you know, not one of us knows everything there is to know about tech, but we're all here to learn from each other, which is really important. So finding a really good community and just keeping your options open, I think, are some of the biggest lessons I've learned from my courses and from my internships and from life.
Great. Actually, I wanted to ask you, you said like we're there learning every day, right? Is it fine that somebody walks into a job and doesn't know everything and they're still asking questions or still learning? Is that okay?
I think that's absolutely okay. That's more than okay. I think, honestly, when you go into a job and you're not there to learn, I think what's the point for you personally? Yeah, you'll know everything and you'll make the app like, or the website you're working for like amazing, but what are you getting out of it, you know? So I think just not knowing everything is honestly exciting, because then you have so much more room to grow.
So when you have like a project that you're stuck on, and like how do you go about that to get to the end of the project?
Well, first I struggle. I try to understand it myself, and the goal there is not really so that I can do it by myself necessarily. If I know something's going to be difficult, I kind of already know that I'm going to be needing to ask questions. So I go into it trying to understand as much as I can possibly, and really try to articulate questions so that I can bring it up to people. We use Slack a lot at my job, so if I know that somebody has worked on something that I am struggling with now, I'll reach out to them. If I don't know, then there's these great things called channels, so I'll just ask my whole team, like, hey, I'm really struggling with this. And I'll come up and I'll state my questions clearly, like this is exactly what I'm struggling about, because I think a really important thing to learn is how to ask questions, because once you know how to ask questions, like you'll get clear answers back. So usually that's how it goes when I really just don't understand something, which is, it happens.
Okay. So asking questions is the way to go. Well, second way to go.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of teens, such as myself, that want to go into this field, right? So I had a few people like ask me, or we were in conversation, like, do we do internships during the summer or like programs? Like, would you recommend it?
Absolutely. I think finding programs, even if right off the bat it doesn't seem like something you would be 100% interested in. Like if I had done that with my Gen Tech program, I saw that there were like coding workshops and I was like, I have never done this before and I don't even know if I'm going to like this. If I had never done that, then I would not be in tech today, or probably wouldn't. So look out for programs that you think can be a really great learning opportunity. Try to find at least a couple things in there that you find interesting. I think if you can't find a program or internship, because I definitely think it's hard. I've been there in high school. A lot of places don't want to hire a high schooler, but there's definitely programs designated for just high schoolers. If you can't do, a structured internship or a program, I think a good way to go about it is embark on your own research, embark on your own project. I know a ton of my friends, they spent their summers, working on their own applications, and I think there's a lot of like resources online now. If you want to learn iOS programming, if you want to learn my job, there's so many resources online. You could take Coursera courses, Treehouse courses.
Yeah.
There's so many ways you can learn nowadays that if you're a young high schooler and you're just getting started, I think a good way to a good thing to have under your belt is definitely some knowledge that you've sought on your own in your free time.
Any last minute tips or tricks that you want to give to our viewers, or young female viewers, about joining the technical field?
I think one of the most important things you can do is definitely find a supportive community. You can join meetups online, virtual meetups now. And also what I said before about just keeping your options open. There's so many different fields within technology, and there's so many tangents to technology that you can really dive into. Don't get too comfortable, because it's easy to get comfortable and just stay in the same field for years and years. But you also want to if you're not challenging yourself, then what's the point? And make sure you're always just challenging yourself and making sure you're learning something new every day. And those are some of my tips.
Thank you so much, Karishma. I really appreciate your time here. Anyway, this is the end of the episode for Tip Tech Tips. Catch me on the next episode. Bye!